Good afternoon, everyone. I want to welcome you for having been so brave to come out in this weather today. This is certainly not the norm for us here at the plant, but it's nice to see so many people coming out. And I think you all get a discount for your garbage and for various things today. So if you stick around, we'll be able to help you with things like that. Okay. I'd like to first of all introduce you to our staff. I hope they're all here. I can't really see if people back there, but I'll say your name, and if you're there, come on up here, okay? First of all, Lauren Elliott is the director of the Abington Regional Wastewater Authority. She is a certified wastewater treatment plant operator and has been with Arwa for 9 years. Lauren started at Arwa in 2007 as a laboratory supervisor. She was appointed to director in January of 2015. She resides in Clarks Summit with her husband Eric and 2 daughters, Kaylin and Cora. Ronald Reese, is Ronald here? Thank you. Ronald Reese is the plant operator at Arwa. He has been with the authority for almost 30 years and is a certified wastewater treatment plant operator. Ron lives in West Wyoming with his wife Janice. Joe Boltowitz is the coordinator of the Abington Regional Wastewater Authority. Joe started with the authority in February of 2015. He recently became a certified wastewater operator. Joe resides in Archbald. Anthony Longo is the maintenance manager. I'm not sure I pronounced your name correctly, but that's the best I can do with it, all right? So, the maintenance manager at the Abington Regional Authority. Anthony has been with the authority for 3 years. He became a certified wastewater treatment plant operator in 2015. He resides in Dunmore. Gary Subak is a plant manager at Arwa. He has been employed with the authority for 35 years. Gary lives in Nicholson with his son, Nicholas, and daughter, Kendra. Michael Gantz is a plant worker for the Abington Regional Wastewater Authority. Mike started in Arwa in February 2015. Mike recently became a certified wastewater treatment plant operator. He resides in Dunmore with his fiancee, Kim. Jim Pisa, I hope I said your name correctly also, is a plant worker at Arwa. All right. Jim started in Arwa in February of 2015. He resides in Old Forge with his wife, Catlin. I think one of the things I want you all to know is the fact that these young men, and some women as well, are all pros. They know what they're doing here. They've been involved in this plant for quite a few times, quite a few months and years, and do a great job for us. I'd like to all of you give them a round of applause for their service. Okay. Now I'd like to introduce you to the chairman of our board, right over here, this fine gentleman, and he's going to talk to you about the purposes that we're here for today, and also what our goals are and what we plan to do in the future as well. Mr. King? I didn't say your name. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Well, thank you everyone for coming out today on this very nasty day. We could have had summer up to about a week ago, and it changed its mind now, I guess. I want to take a few moments. My name is Don Snyder. I've been with the authority for quite some time now. I don't even want to say how long. I can't really remember. But one of the things that I do want to mention is that the education levels of our staff here, I think that we are very fortunate to have some really good people working in our plant. A while ago, there was a state and federal mandates that went out on Clean Waters Act and so on, and we had to comply with all of those. And we had that meeting approximately 6 years ago. It's been a very long road getting to where we're at now. But I will tell you, we do have still some bumps and bruises. We're aware that, there's an unpleasant odor coming from the plant. The board and the staff is working very diligently to change that and get it right for us. The plus side of it, we have probably, and I can say this very comfortably, become a model for putting clean water back into the environment at a very low cost here. We have people contacting our staff on a regular basis from other sewer plants to come here and find out what we're doing, even though we have that odor out there. And some of those people have actually had those problems, and they're helping us with that problem at our plant also. So I do make my pledge to you that this board and our staff will be working very hard to try to mitigate that problem of the odor. I mean, it's something that comes with the territory, and we're finding out a lot of stuff because of it, and we're working hard to get rid of that. That being said, I have to compliment the municipalities that we serve. Our board, since I have been on it, has been a very hard-working board, and we spend a lot of time either in the boardroom or other places working on problems with the plant. We have committees that are very active, and we have a lot of talent that has been provided to us from all of the communities. And I want to give you my personal thank you for sending a board that can sit in a boardroom and work together and solve the problems that we had in building this plant. We have a great deal of hardworking, talented people on the board. And for the most part, there's very little disagreement. We do what's right, and it's been easy to be part of this board for me. Again, I've served as the chairman for probably about 4 or 5 years here now, and the vice chairman currently from South Abington Township is Mr. Wayne Thorpe, standing in the back over here, and Gloria Lance, also from South Abington Township, who is a past chairperson of the board also. Bob Kelly, who's in the back, who's been a long time resident of the township, and he's a member of the board from South Abington also. Mr. Wayne Miller, who you met, who was just up here a few moments ago speaking, is from Clark Summit Borough. He's a representative from there. Mr. Paul Murphy, he is the guy, and I have to say something special about him. He's the guy that knows how to take care of the money. And he brought that to our table. And there's been a lot of talent to our table. Numerous attorneys, engineers, and so on. But if you want a bulldog accountant, talk to Paul Murphy. So, the other person who is not present here, I haven't seen him, and I don't see him in the group, is Mr. Don Jensen from South Abington Township. He serves as a board member. He's also an attorney. And Mr. David Rinaldi, who is also an attorney. He's our representative from Clarks Green Borough. Henry Jenkins, the new add to the board just recently from Clark Summit Borough. Pleasure to have around. He's been very helpful with because of his past experiences with the bids and so on that we have coming in. Mr. David Gromowski, who is also our solicitor and former board member, and currently serving as our solicitor. So he was a good transition. Dave's law practice brings him into a lot of environmental courts, or working for Pennsylvania, the state of Pennsylvania, and the Department of Environmental Resources. So we have like people here in our community that brings a lot to this boardroom table. And I like to thank them for everything that they have done in making this happen. Again, we're still work in progress, and we promise you we will continue to be work in progress. So, that being said, we want to kind of make this a little bit short today because of the weather. Miss Jerry Carey and her assistant has put together a nice little meal in the other room in there. We were going to have Lauren say some words, right? So, we're going to invite Lauren to the podium. Thank you.
Hi. First, I'd like to welcome everyone for coming today on this rainy day. And I'd like to give you a little background on myself. I grew up in West Scranton and attended Scranton School District. My junior year of high school was an important one. I had an environmental science class that was taught by Mr. Peter Kloss, and that was where my career would begin. He made me realize that as a young person, we are the ones that need to preserve and protect the environment. At this point, I knew this was the field in which I wanted to further my education. I developed a passion for the environment. I attended the University of Pittsburgh and received a degree in environmental studies in 2003. Throughout my college studies, I had 2 internships. One was with the Lackawanna River Corridor Association, and one with the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection. Both programs fueled my drive to make an impact on the environment. Upon graduation, I worked for an environmental laboratory analyzing various forms of sample matrices. In 2007, I started at Arwa as a laboratory supervisor. Soon after, I became a certified wastewater treatment plant operator in the state of Pennsylvania. In January of 2015, I was appointed director of the authority. I will mark 10 years at Arwa in 2017. And now on to the project. This $32 million upgrade was directed by the Department of Environmental Protection to comply with the requirements of the Chesapeake Bay federal mandate and to help improve our hydraulic overload conditions. These goals have been achieved. I'm very happy to report we have excellent nitrogen and phosphorus removal. Therefore, every day we have a little impact on improving the water quality of the Chesapeake Bay. We've also made great improvements in our capacity. I want to point out that we built this plant with the help of all 3 municipalities: Clark Summit, Clarks Green, and South Abington Township. The municipalities were able to collect approximately $6 million in PAYGO funds. This provided a savings of approximately $12 million. That savings has allowed the authority to keep rates down. We have not had a rate increase the last few years, and we do not anticipate one for 2017. I want to thank the Board of Directors for all their hard work throughout this project. All the municipalities should be very proud of these individuals. They have worked very hard ensuring that this project was financed and designed properly. I would also like to personally thank them for all of their support. I truly am grateful. Last but not least, I'd like to thank my staff. Arwa has 7 employees, 5 of whom are also our certified operators, and we truly make an amazing team. The staff members are all great assets to the wastewater treatment plant. It's a daily mission of all of ours to protect the environment and serve our communities. So that's a little bit about our journey and the project. We had planned on offering a tour today, but due to the inclement weather, we're going to reschedule that for a later date. So anyone that would like one, if you can contact me at any time, and I'd be more than willing to make an appointment and walk you around, show you what we have to offer here. So thank you, and thank you again for coming. And I'm going to introduce our engineer now. Oh, do you want to do it? Go ahead, you do it. Go ahead.
I didn't know what we were going to. We have an agenda and we're kind of looking at each other here. But, okay. This all could not have been possible without good financing, and to recognize some people and some former board members that are sitting in the room. In the front row up here, Dave Jenkins, that served on the board approximately 10 years ago. Dave, is that was it? And he worked very hard with it. And someone who I have a great deal of respect for, who worked extra hard when he was here for us, would be Mr. Steve Evers, sitting in the back over there. And the financial part of this whole thing, Paul Murphy and other people had got involved in the finance. We have 2 good bank representatives that have been very cooperative with us, Mr. Tomko and Ms. Byrne from the banks. They're here with us. Also, obviously, this project could not have been done to the extent that it was without an engineering firm. And I'd like to introduce Mr. Mark Gerlicki from Gannett Fleming and ask him if he'd come to the podium and tell us a little bit about this from the engineering side, if you'd like. You don't have to be long, Mark, just a brief interview. So if, when people see you around town, they recognize you.
Okay. Thank you, Chairman Don. I appreciate it. And I won't be too long, but I do have a few notes to help me out. I'm not going to be as polished as Lauren was. So that was very nice, Lauren. But I wanted to start out by saying a few things. The wastewater industry, sometimes they call it a foundation industry. And that's because you need good water treatment, good wastewater treatment in a community so that that community can prosper and grow. So this is a foundation of this area. And was a huge project, not only for this area, but also for Gannett Fleming. It's been years in the making, anywhere from 6 to 8 years in the making. So a huge planning process that went into this. And as Lauren alluded to, there was 3 main reasons why this project was undertaken. The first one, as she mentioned, was for nutrient reductions to meet the DEP Chesapeake Bay requirements. And just to give you some numbers with the amount of reductions, we're talking about nitrogen reduction and phosphorus reductions. The plant a few years ago was discharging maybe about 120,000 pounds of nitrogen into the stream. Right now, currently, it's discharging about 40 to 45,000 pounds per year. So a great reduction, over 50% reduction. Relative to phosphorus, we were discharging about 14,000 pounds per year of phosphorus into the stream. These days, we're discharging a little bit less than 8,000 pounds. So all of that combined is great for the assets of the waterways that eventually then lead to the Chesapeake Bay. So great reductions there. The other thing that we took care of in the project was some hydraulic bottlenecks and treatment capacities. We've increased those the capacities and reduced the bottlenecks so that more flow can get down to the treatment plant. The other thing was we replaced some old aging equipment, and that's always necessary. The treatment plant is very mechanical, a lot of mechanical components to it. So a lot of those parts were just outdated and needed replaced. So getting to some of the cool features of the treatment plant, mainly is the bioreactors. The bioreactors provide the biological treatment for the system. So it reduces the organics, gets rid of the nutrients through a biological process. And just as an analogy to the biological process, just like there's different creatures in the world, there's different microbiology in the world, and they perform different functions. Like a bat performs a different function than a vulture, say. So if you were to tour the plant, you'd see different zones in the bioreactors. Well, there's different bacteria in each different zone. So those different zones create a different atmosphere, different environment, and take care of the pollutants in a different way. So pretty incredible feature of these wastewater treatment plants. Sometimes they're referred to as bug farms because there's so much biology, microbiology to the systems. Some other things we did, there were some energy saving features just through various new innovative equipment that we chose for the process. We were able to save money and expenses, operational expenses. So that's all important from an aspect of keeping operational costs low. We also went into some sustainability features where we have non-potable water being used throughout the plant. We're actually capturing some of the heat from the treated water before it leaves the plant. We're capturing some of the heat to use then to heat some of the facilities. So very cool things. We're actually using some of the non-potable water for some toilet flushing. So if you do take a tour, don't drink out of the toilets. It's non-potable water. So, you see a lot on the surface here, but to be honest with you, there's a ton more underground. There's so many piping facilities, fiber networks, electrical networks underground that you don't even see from the surface. So it's quite a complex system. And if you do tour the plant, make sure you see every process, and even into the basements of the buildings. Very complex network of piping and valving and whatnot. Very interesting. So what were some of the challenges that we ran into for this project? A obviously a big project, but there was a lot of different groups that we had to talk to and sort of bring together. So I'm here from Gannett Fleming, Mark Garlicki. I do have Rachel Gavelovich here as well from Gannett Fleming. She handles a lot of the financial and Penvest things, the banking accounts. One person that couldn't make it today was Jim Elliott. I know some of you, the past board members, may have known Jim. He was instrumental in getting the groups together and developing a project plan to move forward. So he apologizes for not being here, but he was instrumental in the beginning aspects of this. Of course, we had a time schedule with DEP that we had to meet. The project had to be done to meet a certain timeline so that we can reduce the nutrients in a timely manner. So that was a challenge. Obviously, this site is a tight site. Luckily, we were able to get some land across the road, Scott Road, to expand the facilities over there. And during construction, we had to keep everything operational. So that was an operational challenge. I can put anything on a piece of paper, but that doesn't mean it's going to fit or it's going to work. So all that stuff had to be planned out. There's more work to do, obviously. We have to still coordinate with the municipalities. There's some extraneous water getting into the system, but that's down the road. That's for stuff down the road. So we're working on those features yet. Relative to the project, and it was kind of mentioned, the assets that the authority had in Paul and others to work the finances. The project basically came in slightly under budget from what we anticipated, so all good. These project numbers were developed 8 years ago, and we're coming in real good. So all good relative to a big project of this nature. So many people to thank for this endeavor. We had contractors, 5 main contractors. So thank you goes out to them. I don't know if we have any contractor representatives here, but for the most part, all the construction went well. The funding agencies were involved, banks, various banks. We had Penvest as a funding agency. I'm not sure if there's a Penvest representative here. Okay, thank you. Thank you for coming, Penvest representative. And then, of course, DEP. We had to work with DEP quite a bit for the project. But really, all of this wouldn't have been possible without the authority members and the staff. All dedicated to see this project through. We spent many days in the boardroom, many design review sessions. So really, I think a hands of applause to the staff and to the authority members for making this happen. And in addition to that, we still have the municipalities, the boroughs, the townships that we work with. So I see some folks here from the municipalities and townships. We need to continue that communication and those efforts to move forward and keep things going. So I appreciate it. Thank you for inviting me and having me. It was a great project to engineer, and I'm happy to be associated with it. Thank you.